All right, our next question is a student-based question, so I'll direct this to Natalie. Is it hard to balance schoolwork with practices and games?
I don't think it's hard to balance anything. As a student athlete, you do need to have a schedule. So if you could have like a calendar, I found color coding it. You don't need to color code it, but if you have everything labeled out, when it's due, when you need to be at practice, it's easy to handle. It's not that hard.
All right, thank you. And then I have another student-based question, and I'll direct this one to Shelby. Do the different teams support each other? Like, do other teams go to other people's games and so on?
Yeah, we do. We try to make it like a team bonding thing as well. So when we go to games, we try to, of course, do like color code, or not color codes. We do like a blue out, or like we try to all wear yellow and all go and support each other. We also have what's called SAC. So SAC also like lets us know when senior night is for all of our teams, and when like big games, like we're in the GMAC conference. So when our conference meets are where they will be, so they know where to go.
Awesome. And then as a follow-up to that, can you let our students know what is SAC? Should they get involved as a first-year student? Is it required for athletes? Can you go through that process for us?
So SAC is like our student athletic council. So we have people who are appointed to be on SAC, but you are not required to be on SAC. And you can have your whole team on SAC if they want to participate, and like you can volunteer, but it is required to have at least one member from each team to be like present at every meeting, so they can like spread the information we know from the meeting.
All right, perfect. Thank you. And then Danielle, if you could let us know, what division is Ursuline?
Sure. So hello, everyone. Thanks for joining today. So Ursuline is a Division II NCAA institution. I also wanted to just tag on something to Alaric's response to that first question on how to reach out. Make sure that you're following us on social media. Both Ursuline and each team has their own social media pages on Instagram and Twitter. So that's a great way to learn more about what's coming up with recruiting and any other special events going on. Also a great way to reach out if you are interested in learning more information, whether that's a DM or just responding to ask questions. So just wanted to get that out there too.
All right, thank you. And then I'll direct this one towards Dan. Is there an opportunity for athletic scholarships at the Division II level?
Yes, there's an opportunity for athletic scholarships at the Division II level at Ursuline College. We stack our academic and athletic scholarships together, so there's an opportunity based on athletic performance.
All right, thank you. And then Natalie, how often do the teams practice? We know that it probably depends team to team, but how often do you see the different teams practicing?
I would say Monday through Friday. I would say that's about on average. I know there's a limit on how much you can practice, and our coaches do a really good job of making sure you don't go over that, so that's never an issue. But it really just depends on if you're in season or if you're not in season.
All right, thank you. And then we'll go back to Danielle. How many different teams does Ursuline have?
So we've got 11 teams, athletic sports, but I am excited to say that stunt will be the newest sport that we're going to be adding in 2021. So for those of you joining that aren't familiar with stunt, it is derived from cheerleading. Most of us know what cheerleading is, right? So it takes the technical components of cheer and puts it in a 4-quarter game format. So we're really excited to be adding that sport to Ursuline.
Awesome, thank you. I know we are all very excited for that to be there. We're all really excited to see the competitions and everything that's going on. It's sure to be a really good addition to our group. All right, we have a question that was chatted in. All right, how would a student go about the walk-on process? And that can be for any coach.
I would say for cross country and track and field, for us, you know, like I said, the earlier you could contact us, the better. So if you think you possibly want to walk on and come on to, you know, our team, I think the best way is to contact us. Say if you're not 100% sure and you decide on campus, okay, this is after the first week or two of classes, hey, this is something I really want to, you know, do and pursue. All our offices are in the athletic center upstairs. So if you come upstairs, stop by any of the coaches' offices. Again, we'll sit down, have a conversation with you, and kind of further that discussion, what you need to do in terms of being a part of our team. It is a process because we're NCAA school, so we do have to go through paperwork and things like that. So the sooner we can start that process, the better.
All right, perfect. And then I have another question that came in. Are there opportunities for intramural sports on campus, or is it all the division competition sports? And that can be—
There is an opportunity for some intramural activity. We don't have intramural sports on our campus, but we have in the past. Coaches from within the athletic department have put together leagues, whether it was a 3-on-3 basketball league or dodgeball or things of that nature, where all the athletic teams put together groups of athletes that come in and they play against each other for a night or a couple different nights. Usually that's every year that gets done, and it really just depends on who participates based on who's in season, who's not in season.
Perfect, thank you. And Dan, we'll keep it on you. Where do the different teams practice? Do they all practice on campus, or are there some off-campus facilities?
Not all the teams practice on campus. We don't have a track. And obviously during the winter seasons, when spring sports are coming in to play, whether it's softball or lacrosse or track and field, et cetera, we go off-site to practice. For instance, for track and field, we go to the Spire Institute in Geneva 2 to 3 times a week for our training during the year. During the fall, for track and field cross country, we're often off campus practicing. Lacrosse and softball also go off campus, but they do have nights that they stay on campus and practice in the gym.
Perfect, thank you. And then, all right, another one that came in. See, GPA requirements. What kind of GPA do you need to maintain to stay on an athletic team? And Alric, I'll direct that one to you.
Okay, yeah, so the minimum GPA requirement is a 2.0. Typically for us as coaches, we do get reports in terms of 4-week reports, 8-week reports, and even 12-week reports. So we're kind of monitoring your academic through the whole time that you're at Ursuline. So for the most part, you know, if you are having any struggles or anything like that, we're kind of right on top of everything. So.
Perfect. And then another question to direct towards Natalie and Shelby. Are there opportunities for teammates to all study together? Is it required to do studying? What's that process like for, you know, transitioning into college?
So I know when you first come to Ursuline, they want you to do study tables for, I think it's your first semester until you have a 3.0, or if you do have a 3.0 after that, they're not mandatory to do it. Mandatory study tables. My freshman year did study tables all the way through just so I could keep a base on and a schedule. And that personally helped me because there are other teammates in the room doing them at the same time. Shelby and I actually do homework around the same time every night, so that really helps as well. So, I mean, it's not mandatory to do it with teammates, but it does help because you guys are on the same schedule for the most part.
All right, thank you. Shelby, do you have anything to add, or does that sum it up?
So I also feel like when I do homework with my teammates, it holds me more accountable. A lot of the time when you first start your core curriculum at Ursuline, a lot of your teammates are going to be in the same classes as you. So it helps to have them to study and do work with. But it's not mandatory. We just kind of do it just to do it together. So
that's really fun. And another question that kind of goes along with classes that Natalie and Shelby, you can both answer. What is it like to schedule classes as an athlete? Is there ever overlap with classes? How do you balance that?
So we as athletes we meet with our advisors, and our advisors help us to keep us on track with our credits and help us plan our schedule accordingly, so that way we don't have overlap with classes and that it's approved by someone else other than ourselves, because students have student athletes have first priority when it comes to scheduling. They make sure that you get all the classes you need before anything. So.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and we'll direct this one to Alric. Can families come and see games on Ursuline's campus, and will it cost them money to attend?
Yes, they can attend games on campus. I know for basketball, volleyball, they do kind of have a roll call. So basically, you know, say if it's your family members, they wouldn't have to pay. Obviously, anyone additionally would have to pay, but you can come on campus as well as off campus. You do get kind of like a discounted fee if you are going to watch a particular member of a certain team. So just kind of look out for that and talk to your coaches regarding that. But it is a fee that you could get discounted for your family members if they want to attend the game.
All right, thank you. And then I'll direct this one to Dan. Since there's not a track facility on campus, where do students train in the fall and during outdoor season? We talked about Spire being the indoor location, but what is that outdoor location for us?
So for the track and field season, throughout the fall into the indoor season and outdoor season, during the fall, like I mentioned, cross-country practices off campus at various locations. For track and field, it's about 5 minutes away from Ursuline's campus. Once it gets cold, which is usually, late October, early November, we begin going to Spire Institute. We go there probably through mid-March. Once the outdoor season starts, we're outside again, and we're at Laurel Butler campus. So we've got locations that are pretty close to our campus. Spire's obviously 30, 35 minutes away, but it's one of the best facilities in the entire country that we're fortunate enough to be able to practice at. But that's kind of how our season lays out of the locations that we practice at.
Thank you. And yeah, I would definitely like to reiterate where Ursuline is, it's a very densely populated community. So there are a lot of local high schools and private schools in the area that Ursuline has teamed up with. So their sport teams will come and use our fields in the outdoor facilities, and in turn we use theirs as well. So we do have a partnership with those schools to make everyone able to practice and compete with their sport. All right, I'll go back to some of the other questions that are coming in, and any of the coaches, we'll start with Danielle. Surrounding the coronavirus, how has this affected recruiting for you guys? I know, Danielle, it's a little different for you since you're not an NCAA sport currently. So maybe Alric and Dan have a different perspective once you answer.
Yeah, I'll definitely hand it over to them to speak to any dead period or things that are NCAA related. But obviously, it's very difficult. We can't do campus visits right now. We want to consider the safety of all of our students and our community members and things of that nature. But we are still very much active in communicating with potential student athletes. We're available by phone, email, text. I mentioned social media. So we are here to support you and help you to make the decision that's right for you and where you want to attend school. So please utilize us. That's the same if you want to speak more about your program. We'll get you in contact with professors or deans, things of that nature. If you have questions about student finance, let us know what you need, and we are here to help you with that. There are also many, many virtual events that are being hosted. So just like this one, there's a nursing one today. There's several opportunities for you to jump into those and learn more about us and get your questions answered and just engage with us that way. But we are very much moving forward with recruiting so that once we are out of this coronavirus craziness, we are taking that off of your plate, and you're going to be in a good place once you are moving forward with that process.
All right, thank you, Danielle. And then Alric or Dan, whoever wants to chime in, how has that affected the NCAA sports?
Okay, I'll go. Okay, so yeah, for the NCAA sports, we are on a dead period right now, so we can't have any in-person contact with any recruits until at least May 31st. I know right now the high school season is you know, all over the place in regards if they're going to start or not start. So I think the biggest thing for us is really communicating with recruits and telling them that we're still very interested in, you know, any recruit that's, you know, that we've been talking to or still want to find out more information. We're still very actively talking to them, even though we can't see them in person. So I think for me, that's the biggest worry for most recruits, is just feeling like, you know, they may not be able to, you know, just because they can't compete this season that, okay, I'm going to lose scholarship opportunities or something like that. You know, we're still actively recruiting. We're going to take, you know, everything that's going on in the world into consideration. So I think that's the last thing to worry about. And I think the next thing is in terms of financial things, you know, we're really trying to, you know, communicate with recruits and, you know, at least for 2020s right now, you know, trying to get them, you know, through the system, sign them and things like that. For 2021s, we're, you know, actively still talking to them and things like that and letting them know that, you know, we're still very interested and we want to continue the recruiting process. So.
All right, thank you. Dan, anything to add or did
Yeah,
Alex
despite the dead period.
Go ahead.
He touched on pretty much everything. Despite the dead period, we still continue with the recruiting process. The only piece that's really missing is just that in-person contact that we can't unfortunately have. But we continue through the process, and the process, you know, with our 2020s, 2021s, we continue through that process even after they decide to sign with us. We're still communicating with them, you know, weekly, every few days, just to check in with them and make sure things are going well. And as far as 2021s, you know, even though they're missing their season, we're still just as interested now as we were as if they'd be running. So we continue through that process and kind of see them through the entire thing just to help them whatever needed and push them to our college.
All right, thank you. And Dan, I'll direct this question back towards you again. In terms of NLIs, any seniors that are waiting to receive those official offers, do they have to wait until that May 31st, or is there another deadline for them that's different from that?
The deadline has changed. So April 15th, we'll be able to send out NLIs to athletes. Even right now, we can still, after the dead period were to be over, there was initial talk of the NLIs being extended out until May 31st. We can still send scholarships, but not an NLI. But now it has changed that we can send out NLIs. We'll be doing so to our prospective student athletes in the 2020s on April 15th. So hopefully at that point, there will be the NLIs going out. So it's kind of business as usual. It's just that April 15th date that we're waiting for.
All right, perfect. Yeah, that is definitely good news for our current seniors because I know a lot of them have been asking questions surrounding that. I'll direct this question towards Natalie and Shelby. So whoever wants to go first. Does the team do activities together outside of school, like going shopping together, volunteering together? What kind of things do you guys do, you know, to relax and have fun?
So I can't speak for every team, but I do know that a lot of teams do different activities together outside. With one thing that we were going to do this year was actually try to go to like Topgolf or go putt-putting, but because of everything going on, we were not able to do that with the coronavirus. But I know a lot of people, we do go out to dinner once in a while. We do, obviously, Beechwood Mall is like 5 minutes away from the school max, so a lot of us have gone over there before. Some people do live off campus, so they do have like team dinners. We've hosted team dinners a few times. It really just depends on what you want to do. There's a lot to do around the campus, and there's a lot that you could go and do. So our team definitely takes advantage of that as much as we can.
Thank you, Natalie. Shelby, do you have anything to add?
This past year, we also did like pumpkin painting instead of carving because there's so many of us. We've done movie nights before. We've gone kayaking as a team. We try to do things that are also athletic outside of just running because, of course, we are running based. We also tried over the summer to plan Cedar Point or going to the beach, but due to some of our teammates living so far away, it's difficult for them to make sure they're in town during those times. But we try to keep in contact and, of course, try to do more things that will develop other memories. So.
All right, perfect. Thank you. And Natalie, you kind of spoke to this. Are athletes required to live on campus? You mentioned off-campus housing, so I figured, go ahead and put that question towards.
I cannot speak for every team because I know every coach is different, but on the cross country and track team, it's not required that you live on campus. I can't speak for stunt either, so I really don't know, but it is an opportunity. If you want to live off campus, you are allowed to live off campus.
All right, thank you. All right, I'll start with Shelby, and then we'll move over to Natalie. What's the benefit of being an athlete at a women's focused college?
I definitely feel as if we're celebrated more than I would be at a college that has, obviously, I wouldn't say like the other gender, but of course, like higher level sports or like men's sports typically take over in comparison to the newsletter of women's. So I feel like we are definitely celebrated more and our accomplishments are celebrated more. So I feel very rewarded that like everyone knows that I did something or one of my teammates have done something that was crazy, amazing this weekend, or I PR'd this weekend, or someone else PR'd this weekend. I enjoy like that aspect.
All right, thank you. Natalie, anything to add?
Just like Shelby, I really agree with everything she says. Another thing that I would add in there is you are focused on a lot more, like Shelby said. So all of that, so it's not like you're like the athletic department splitting the money with males team. All that you're getting more attention, if that makes sense. So like cross country and track, they definitely have a opportunity to give us more of like a uniform, or if we like want a new shirt or something, Coach Best or Coach T are like really good about getting the name out there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And then speaking to that, do athletes have to purchase their own gear, or is that included? What's that process?
So at Ursuline, we do not really purchase our own gear. Our coaches buy all our uniforms. There's extra stuff if you want to buy like online. You can go onto the online store or into the bookstore and you can purchase more, but it's not required. Our coaches will get it for us.
All right, thank you. And then we kind of spoke to this a little bit in terms of what there is to do off campus, but we do have a student chatting in a question currently that says, what do students typically do on weekends besides athletics? Are there activities on campus to do?
I have not personally lived on campus before, so I know that they host things. So I know that Ursuline hosts movie nights and game nights and stuff, but I would ask Natalie because she has lived on campus prior to living off campus.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, so when you're living on campus, they do have a lot of opportunities to do. Like Shelby said, they do have the movie night. I don't know if it was on the weekends or it was on a Friday, but they do a mystery tour bus that you can sign up for, and they'll take you to a random spot around Cleveland. I know in the past, they've done things like Top Golf. They've gone to this, I don't remember what it's called, but it's a gaming place that you can like play different board games. They've done Mitchell's Ice Cream, which is a popular ice cream place in the area. On top of that, they do have like a game night. One weekend they did a casino night. So there's different like games and everything going on campus that you can take advantage of for sure.
All right, thank you, Natalie. All right, so it doesn't look like we have any more questions that have come in, so I feel it's a natural place to wrap this up. So thank you guys all for being on this panel. Any additional questions, students who are on here, you can feel free to email us, admission@ursuline.edu. Also, be sure to check out our website, www.ursulinearrows.com. That is our main athletics page. You can find all the information that you need about the different sports. You can see the roster, the schedules, where you can possibly see the teams compete. Maybe they're coming, to an area near you in the future where you can see that. Other than that, if you guys don't have any other questions, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you.